say bye. Hey, everybody. Tap in, tap in, tap in. You are on Relationship Chronicles with me, Okiymo, the counselor, and I have my wonderful panelists here today. And our topic is, are women always in their feelings? So before we get started, I'm going to let you all each introduce yourselves. Go ahead, starting with Turner.
I'm Rhonda Turner, and I am an educator from Detroit.
Hey, girl. Welcome.
Thank you.
Latanya. Floor. Latanya.
Hey, girl.
Hello, I am Latanya, and I'm coming from Indianapolis, and I work at a university in Indianapolis.
All right. It's the echo, ladies. It's the echo. I don't know if you're watching yourself or not, but it's the echo. All right, Sister Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary, and I am coming live from Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, Mary froze.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead, Sower Hawk.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hawk. I'm a psychotherapist here in the Metro Detroit area.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, once Sister Mary unfreezes, she can chime back in. So, ladies, are women always in their feelings? So, first, I want to know, what do you think about
I am
when you hear the word feelings?
Emotions.
Okay.
Normally, when people say women are always in their feelings, or you know, they never say it in a positive manner, right? It always appears to be a negative connotation behind it. Oh, you and your feelings. Women are too emotional. It's like we're women, and I don't think it has anything to do with being women. People are people, and men can be just as emotional or in their feelings, but no one ever says it in a positive manner. It always has some kind of negative connotation behind it, especially when somebody's like, "Oh, you and your feelings." But that's because you messed up, and now you want to say I'm in my feelings because I'm calling you out on it.
All right. So, emotions. You know, you went fast forward, so
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Emotions.
Oh boy, there it is. I guess there it is.
The therapist in
Anybody
me.
else? Right. Anyone else want to share on when you hear like what do they mean emotions? Like what does the word emotions mean to you?
I think it's soft, especially when it comes to women, because they see us as nurturers. And so the first thing they're going to say, as she stated, we're in our feelings and, oh, well, you're just being soft. Well, we're not being soft, but we're still women. So we're not going to be hard as a man. But if we were hard as a man, then we'll be told we have masculine energy, that we're just being so hard. But then we'll be a little bit soft and show a little emotion. It's a problem. It's like we can't find that perfect balance for people sometimes.
Okay. So the next person that answer, leave other people out of it. I want to hear your terminology when you hear it. Emotions. What is it for you? Not what somebody else say or think.
I I I think that for me it means that you're not understanding what I'm trying to bring across when
Mm,
I express my feelings.
okay.
Um, it's like
All
you're
right.
not listening, so that's why you feel I'm in my feelings. I'm trying
Okay.
to express how I feel about something.
Okay. And Miss Rhonda.
Well, for me, when I'm in my feelings, or when people say that I'm in my feelings, it's me expressing, being able to express how I feel. And not
Mm-hmm.
everyone is comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not my
Okay.
fault. You don't understand, but
That's
I'm
right.
just expressing
Right.
what's in me.
So would you say it's more led to how we communicate with one another?
I think it's a lot of how we communicate with each other, but I think part of it is how we are groomed and raised. I am the only girl of all brothers, and I'm the mother of only boys. And I had to be very intentional about
how I raise my boys in saying it's okay to show emotion. As a matter of fact, you probably need to show emotion because otherwise you're bottling that stuff up. And my mother used to tell me as a girl, it's better out than in. You let it out, but that message wasn't given to the men.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I believe that what Rhonda said was correct. As far as I feel, you have to, um, if you hold your feelings to me is a very, very strong part of communication. If you don't express what you're thinking, not so much as a feeling, it's just a thought. It doesn't have to necessarily be in your feelings. You're
Like
trying
it's
to
not
tell some,
attached. It's not
yes,
attached to an emotion.
yes. You're just trying to communicate, whether it be your mate, your children, your neighbor, your boss, your coworker, and it you have to know how to um, articulate it right so that when people hear it, it comes across how you want it to. And I think when people don't hear you, that's when they want to say you in your feelings. It's
Mm-hmm.
important that you talk to people. It's important. I don't care if it's the smallest thing. You might say, somebody might say to me, your hair is out of place, Miss Mary, which is impossible. But still, if I
Mm-hmm.
don't take it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
then they're gonna say, "Oh, you're all in your feelings." So communication is important, and expressing it. Everybody just doesn't get it because,
Mm-hmm.
like Rhonda said, some people are not taught.
And I think it's about how it's received and broken down, and then that's how a person reacts. So that will kind of determine how they are reacting to that feeling. Because I always equate something like that to a book. We can all read a book, but that's why you have book clubs, because you may get something out of the book, the same book that we read, and I wouldn't have thought about it in that way. And then you may have read it, and it's just like, okay, well, I never thought about it that way. So sometimes we have to look at how they received it, how they broke it down, and that's how they're reacting to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Because
Absolutely.
emotions what evoke some type of feeling, right? Someone
Mm-hmm.
says something to you and they may not have said it how you received it, right? Their
mhm.
intent might not have been the way that it came across to you, but what you heard made you feel offended or slighted, or which then people say, or you might have taken offense to it, right? Depends on what it is and the connotation behind it. And so when people say, you're all in your feelings, well, we're all always in our feelings, right? It's not like this one dimensional word. Feelings express a lot of things, a magnitude of things. But like I said, when people say it, it's usually a negative connotation. But there's nothing wrong with being in your feelings, because in order to be in your feelings, that means you're able to express yourself. It evoked you in either happy, sad, indifferent, anger, whatever. It created some type of emotion for you to get a listed response. So there's really nothing wrong with being in your feelings. It's just that people take it and when they want to put this negative connotation behind it. Am I in my feelings? Yes, I'm in a good mood today. So yes.
Amen.
Mhm.
Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
a good one.
And when I think about it, like if somebody asks me, "Are you okay?" and I say, "I'm fine." They used to me being, you know, whatever. But at times I am focusing and I'm thinking. And then some people can take that as if something is wrong. She's in her feelings. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't even thinking about you, period. Fool. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Um, my mind is clearly somewhere else. So how do you help somebody that, they just want to make it all about them? How about that?
Oh, the narcissistic people?
Is that what it is, sis?
Mhm.
Sometimes, it's interesting because you know me, I'm pretty outgoing, but it's moments where I'm just quiet and people like, you okay? Yes. You sure? Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just quiet. Why can't I just be quiet today? I talk for a living, listen to people all day as a therapist. I just want some solitude and peace and quiet. So there's
Mhm.
not anything wrong with me because I choose to be quiet today
Mhm.
and
Yes.
not energetic and always on. I think a lot of times we're always on, that when people see us in a state of just quiet and calm, they don't know how to approach you or how to handle it.
Mhm.
So then
Mhm.
it comes off, you must be in your feelings today. Something must be wrong. You having a rough day? No, I'm just quiet. But if you keep asking me,
Then your
then I
feelings
may get
come
in
out.
my feelings and read you, and then you're not gonna like it.
And
Right.
when
You
those
kept
happen,
poking
things,
at the bear. You kept poking. A lot of times we can keep poking at somebody and evoke a response and then turn around and be like, oh my God, she's in her feelings,
and,
unfortunately.
and I think sometimes, like you said, you're always on, and when you're quiet, um, people have just one way to deal with you. And if you act differently than what they're used to, then that makes them have to think, okay, so what am I gonna do next? Well, you don't need to do anything. Just respect the fact
Mm-hmm.
right now I'm okay, I'm quiet. When I feel like talking, I'll feel like talking, and we just go from there. So, it kind of makes them have to step back, look like, okay, how am I gonna communicate with this person? How am I gonna, because she's not doing her norm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know. As I always tell people, that's a PP, a personal problem. It's not mine.
Right.
So
That
yeah.
part.
And for me, when I'm in that quiet mode and I'm what people would deem in my feelings, that's me connecting with where I am and how I'm feeling at that moment. And I'm
Mhm.
coming to a resolve with it. Let me be. But
Mhm.
it seems like when they start with the you're in your feelings, it's because I've ruffled your feathers or you're uncomfortable and you don't know. And now I've triggered some emotions in you. But again,
Mhm.
like she said, that's a personal problem. That's not me.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Right, right.
So
Well, for
go
me,
ahead.
I get talkative when I'm in my feelings. I want to talk about it, and so when the other person doesn't want to talk about it, um, I think that's when I get in my feelings. Like with my grandkids, if I'm trying to have a conversation with them, and it's when I have to, I get into my feelings. But I'm just a communicative person. I rather
Mhm.
talk about the problem or the situation than to ignore it.
Mhm.
And so I'm never quiet when I'm in my feelings. I'm talking.
Okay. So when in relationships, I like when Sister Mary said, I want to be, is when I want to be heard or I'm not heard. And just not, people don't understand how important it is to give somebody your attention. So here is one tip we had got for our first lady, like in relationships. Um, you didn't had a rough day, your mate didn't had a rough day. And as soon as one another runs into the house, come into the house, we're ready to what?
Vent.
Talk, unleash, drop everything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So at that time, we need to do what? Give each other a period
Time.
of
To just
time,
debrief.
Unwind.
unwind, let them settle. Because that's where, if people pay attention to their relationships, it's just like a work relationship. You walk right into the office and you hit, I'm a school counselor. I can't even get in the door good enough. And I'm, hit real quick. And I'll be like, oh, can you just give me a moment? I'm going to walk into I just want you to sit here until I can just hang my coat up. Let me settle in. Then I can talk. Do anybody else feel, what I'm talking about? The importance of the debrief factor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I've, being a therapist, when I would come home from work, my family knew that once I got in the door, because as soon as I come in the door, I'm kicking shoes off, taking clothes off, I'm ready to go in my room. But I would close my bedroom door. And as long as the bedroom door was closed, they knew, don't talk to me, because I'm really trying to just process my day, come home, relax, collect my thoughts before I engage with the family, right? And so once my door opened, they knew it was safe to come in and
Mm.
the daughter telling me about your day and Stephanie did this and who did that. And, girls is like, and you got to follow the whole story. Like, so yeah, I totally get that. Or, once my door open, free fall, come and talk. But I just really need some solace at that moment and some quiet because I don't need to be bombarded with everything that, even if they having a great day, I still don't need to be bombarded with that when I'm coming in because I had a long day and now I'm trying to just woosah. So
Mhm.
that's very important that people realize that you need to give people some space to even be able to be present because that's a big one for me. I can't be present to whatever it is you need to convey to me if I'm not even present for myself at that moment.
Mhm. That's good. Turner.
So for me, it's interesting. She goes in her room and closes the door. I never get out of my car. I pull up, I cut off the car, or I leave the car on and I sit there. And sometimes it'll be like, okay, it's been an hour. Let me go in the house now. And I know it's been too long if my kids come out and knock on the window, but that's my chance to decompress. It's like I have to let all of this out because in a school all day, you get a lot coming at you. And I
Mhm.
do want to be present when I come home. And I know that everybody wants to talk or touch or tell, not to mention the motherly duties after work. That's
Mhm.
my way of coming back to terms with who I am. Okay, get back into mama mode or household mode and go on in there. And so it's critical. People say, why are you sitting in your car? I just need to. That's
I'm
just what
glad
I
I'm
need.
not the only one. I'll drive home, especially if because I work at a university and I deal with the big kids. The big kids about their financial issues and everything is always important. Or when I wanted to tell you it was important, it wasn't. But now it's urgent because you say it's urgent. So sometimes I will drive home in silence and sit in my car, and my kids know until you hear the garage door come up, I am not home. The car may be there, and I'll see them peeking out the window, but until that garage door comes, don't. And then I come in because it is, everything that's coming at you. So you do have to kind of just decompress. And my mom called me one day. I was in the car. She said, "It's quiet in the car." Yeah, I'm riding home in silence. I don't want to hear nothing but the road.
Right.
I know once I come out of this car, it's just going to be now my next set of things to have to deal with. And like you said, with girls, you got to be present because it's always a long storyline. So, yes.
But see,
Mhm.
that's why I closed the bedroom door because the car, in their mind, you're still home and you're in the car. So I'm gonna come knock, knock, knock. But you already
Mhm.
know my rule is if my door is closed, then I can't be present because I'm still
Hmm.
trying to process whatever I need to and just unwind before I take on all of your world. And your 5 alarm fire at the moment does not have to become mine. Because
Mhm.
again, I can't be present to your 5 alarm fire when I can't be present for myself.
Mhm.
If I go in my room, I'm
Right.
not coming out, I'm going to sleep. So that's why it's like I'm on until like 11,
Yeah.
12 o'clock at night. Sometimes I'll get out the car and I won't sit until like maybe 9 or 10, which isn't
And
good.
and
But
and that's fine, each one to each to its own, but
mm,
it goes back to what? Communication.
communication.
Absolutely.
If
Hmm.
you communicate with your children the expectations of what it looks like when my door is closed, what does it look like if I sit in the car? They're gonna already know. But if we
Hmm.
never communicate that with them, unfortunately, that's their response. And they will keep doing it until you say, "Hey, honey, you know what? Let me tell you, when I'm sitting in the car, I move side. I'm taking a breather." And
Yes.
you never know. They might just take that. That's you're teaching them, believe it or not. Because when they get older, Hulk's daughter is gonna do what? Sit, go in her room and close the door. Your children are gonna do exactly whatever you're doing to debrief. They're gonna do it. We don't believe it, but I'm telling you, wait and see.
Well, that's factual because my daughter is an adult now. She's 29 and that's what she does. Or I'll call her and she go, "Mom, I'm just having a rough day. Can I just call you later? I just need
See?
to take a minute. I just got off work." Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll say once, I'll say, "You good?" And if she says, "Yeah, I'm fine," I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm here when you need me." And I just hang up. I
Mm-hmm.
don't ask 5 times. "You sure you want to talk about it?" Because you're not gonna yell at me and snap at me down, but like you're being disrespectful.
There it is.
So,
and I'm glad I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm glad you pointed that out because that's considered nagging.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, when I hear men talk, it's about nagging, just nagging. If I say this, please, respect what I said. And if I don't do it, then that's when you follow up and say, hey, you didn't do it. So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about that because that also leads us into our, what they say, feelings or emotions. What's your thoughts about that?
I can't hear you.
Who
I
want to
hate
go
repeating
first?
myself. So I'm gonna ask you once, and then if you don't do what it is that I asked you to do, because it takes a lot for me to ask anyone to do anything, then do it. So I try not to nag, but yeah, then they're in their feelings because I did it. Well, why didn't you just not wait? Because it's been 3 or 4 days and you didn't get
Exactly.
done. So I don't want, because if I ask you again, then I'm nagging. I don't ask you, then why didn't you wait for me to do it? It's been 3 to 4 days. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's like
And
a
that,
no-win situation sometimes.
and that's just it. I don't consider it nagging. It's no different if you ask your spouse, your partner, your child, whomever, to do something, and especially us as women, we want you to do it in a timely fashion. Not when
Mhm.
you get ready to,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
but in a
Mhm.
timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ask you to take the
Yes.
trash out, I'm expecting you will soon thereafter take the trash out. Not that, it's 7:24 now and I ask you to take the trash out and come 9:30, 10 o'clock, we're about to go to bed, the trash still not out. Can you please take the trash out? I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. Now I ain't got up for work the next day and the trash still there. So now when I start, hey, I asked you to take it out, I'm in my feelings, right? Because I raised my voice or changed my tone.
Mm-hmm.
Or you and your feelings, I was gonna do it. When? I would like it
Mm-hmm.
done in a
Mm-hmm.
timely fashion.
Mhm.
Exactly.
One of our viewers, Chantel, said, "Yes, I agree. When I was on active duty, I told my kids, give me 30 minutes to decompress when I first get home."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. It is.
Very
They need to,
important.
yeah, and
Yeah, it
the
is.
children need to know that. Your spouse, your mate, whoever you're talking to, need to you all need to, those are some norms that people should establish within their relationship, regardless,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's your at work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't send the children. Well, she's supposed to be here at 7:30. I'm about to send them send them to her right now at 7:30. And I'm like, give me a minute. You can text me, email me, you need to see the child, and I'll come right there. But we need to establish those norms, even within outside of our personal relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's nothing wrong with setting healthy boundaries. And
That's right.
Mhm,
people need to learn how to respect people's boundary. It looks different for
mhm,
everybody, but whatever my
mhm,
boundaries are, respect that that's my boundary, right?
mhm,
When I worked for the foster care system, as soon as I walk in the door, Miss Hawk, Miss Hawk, Miss Hawk. And I'm like, whoa, give me a second. Let me get in my office, get my coat off, let me go into
mhm,
prayer because they all know like I get to work early just so I can do that. Woosah,
mhm,
collect my day, go into
mhm.
prayer before I start my day. So give me a second and then I'll address your needs. So if I
Yes.
think when people set the boundaries and expectations from the beginning, then you don't have all that extra.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. True. That's so
When
true.
I As I'm thinking like sometimes I have to make sure what I can be feeling one way, and I have to make sure my response to people is tapered love. You know what I'm saying? You ever have to try to watch yourself? Like, I'm trying to be mindful
Mm-hmm.
um, of what I'm saying and what
Yes.
I'm doing because
Yes.
people we want to say emotional or feelings or sensitive. That's why it's important to get to know the people that you are around because
Yes. So important.
you can set a fire. She didn't speak to me today. I'm like, well, my God, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't personal, honey. If you
Mm-mm.
only knew what goes on in this head,
Yeah.
you'll give me some grace. That's all I'm saying. So we
Yeah.
just want to, I come on here because I'm like, I hear people, and I, especially men, say, if you all would just get out your feelings. And I'm like one time I responded to a comment, y'all, and that person said, "You're just in your feelings." I'm like, how am I in my feelings about something you posted? I'm just sharing how I feel.
Hmm.
But because I didn't agree with what they posted, I was in my feelings. I was really mad after that because I'm like, you took it somewhere where it didn't even need to
And you know what's interesting about that? They said you were in your feelings. Well, obviously they were in their feelings because they felt some type of way. Whatever you said or post is listed some type of response to them, right?
Yes.
And so instead
Yes.
of just saying, "Hey, Okima, you said this and I agree or disagree, or here's my take on it," it's like you're just in your feelings. Well, again, why being in my feelings has to be negative? We are all in our feelings at some point. They're
Hmm.
called emotions, and that's what makes us human.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be negative. Yes, I disagree with what you said. Here's why. We can respectfully agree to disagree. And just because I
Mm-hmm.
disagree with you doesn't mean I'm in my feelings. Not
Mm-hmm.
in my feelings like
Right.
I agree with you and I'm going to just punch you in your face. Like, so ridiculous. Like, be adults and respectfully agree to disagree. That doesn't make me in my
Right.
feelings. I
Mm-hmm.
can have an intellectual conversation with you and not be what people deem as in my feelings with this negative connotation behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And if a person leaves a comment, I mean, they would think that someone may, whether it be you or somebody else, was going to make a response. So you're not going to post anything on social media or say sometimes anything without people having a reaction to it. So if
That's
you
so
don't want
true.
anyone to react to it, then don't
Don't
say
put it
it.
out there.
Or
That's
either
true.
put it in a tactful way. As I tell my kids, everything you must do with tact. Because if you just come out and blurt it, they're like, well, what's wrong with her? Versus if
Mm-hmm.
you craft the response, it sometimes
Mm-hmm.
may make them think, and sometimes it'll make them think in a good way, and then it may make them think, did she just like low key put me in my place? It
Mm-hmm.
makes them think. So it's all the way how all in the way that you approach the situation and how
Yes.
you say
Yeah.
it.
Yes. I,
So
I think that is so true. There have been many times when I have read something that someone might have sent me, or and you want to reply, but I've been typed it up, and then when I read it, I'll be like, no, that's not gonna come across right. So
mhm.
I delete it, and I leave it alone for maybe a day or two. They might think,
Mm-hmm.
well, she ain't responded back yet. Could be one of my clients, and I'm like, I have to make sure that I word it right because I have to go to this person's home in a few days, and I don't need the friction between us. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to really think about what you say, how you say it, and you can't be in your feelings, as they put it,
Mm-hmm.
because you come out wrong. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
But that's not
you have
always
to get
possible, right? That's not always possible. I'm only in control of what I say. I'm not in control of how you interpret it, right?
that's true.
I
That's
put a
true.
I put a post up the other day with no malice. I said there is a difference between mental health counselors and clinical therapists. There's a difference between them versus life coaches. I also
It
said
is
I
the
have
difference.
nothing
Mhm.
against life coaches.
I read that.
A lot of people's like, yeah, I agree, agree. Some people inbox was like, well, life coaches do the same thing you do, and I
Mm-mm.
feel, hey, I'm not taking anything away from life coaches. I just said what we do as therapists and the credentials and the school and stuff we went through, they didn't
Hello.
go through, and so therefore they're not the same as a therapist. They're not. That's like trying to tell me that a doctor is the same as a physical therapist.
Mm-mm.
No,
Well,
No,
they're
they're not.
not. They may be in the
no.
same realm, but they're not the same. And it's okay. I nothing against life coaches, but again, they're different than what we do as therapists, and that's okay. We all have our own lane. But I have people that was like, "Yeah, I agree." That have people that took offense to it. So I'm not in control of how you perceived it. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
only in control of what I
Right.
said.
And a healthy mind would do their research. That's all I'm saying. Just do your
Exactly.
research. Just like Sister Mary said, I sat back, I read it out loud to myself, and I said, "Ooh, that don't sound right. Let
No,
me
it does.
erase
It does.
it and
I,
let
I,
me
I
think
I know
on
that.
it.
Right. I
Let
know
me
that.
think on it. Then I'm going to respond
Right.
in a manner that that person can receive it. You know,
Right.
and I like I tell children, be careful what you put out on social media because you can't get it back. You
Mhm.
You
might
sure
have
can.
thought you deleted that girl. Somebody had already screenshotted it. They got a screenshot.
Yes.
Say
Yes.
it, say it, forget it, write it, regret it.
Right.
Hello, hashtag. You gonna have to text that to me. So word. You gonna text that. Now look. Miss Wilson said a lot of men are notorious for using the phrase "get out your feelings" as a comeback when you don't agree with what they are saying. We just
Absolutely.
said
That's
that,
true.
Wilson. We just said that.
Yes.
We just said that. Mm-hmm.
when they don't agree with what you're saying, or when you've touched a sore point for them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or call them
Yes.
out on something.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's normally when they know they're in the wrong, but because
Mm-hmm.
we found out or you found out
Yes.
like, oh, you just in your feelings.
That's it.
You're right. I'm in my feelings at this moment if that's what you want to say because you know you out of pocket.
May, may,
Mm-hmm.
may
And
I
I was
say, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead, Miss Mary. I'm through.
May I say that God has given every woman intuition. And it's not that we use it for our glory, it just happens. We can
mhm,
feel things, not so much in our feelings, we just feel something is different or something is
Mm-hmm.
not right
Mm-hmm.
because we need it as mothers and wives and whatever professionals. I'm
Mm-hmm.
quite sure that Okimo and um,
That's
the
Rhonda. Or
Rhonda
yeah,
are
Rhonda.
excellent in their profession because they have an extra ingredient that is God given. They can sense things, they feel it, and so it helps. I don't think men understand that, and so they use the phrase "you in your feelings" because they don't understand. I felt something's different,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you bring it out, and then eventually they have to say, "Yes, okay, you right." Well, why was I all in my feelings then? Just be honest enough to say, "Yes, you're right. I had a bad day at work," or "Yes, I picked up the phone or said something to somebody or was talking to somebody or whatever it might
Mm-hmm.
be. You didn't just be honest because
Most times,
again, that's part of communication.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
You
And
know what's
again,
so
we are not in our
so
feelings. We just have eyes and ears and emotions that
mm-hmm.
God didn't give
But
you.
check this out.
That's what we're called. And I
You know, it's so unfortunate that we have a lot of women and some men, they think they're crazy. Like something is wrong with them. They actually think that because you have people that have manipulated them
oh, yeah.
and
mhm,
made them feel as they are just out of their mind clearly because of their intuition. Men have it, and women have it. He's
Yeah.
given the Lord, he's gave it all to us. It's up to us how we use it. So
True.
and a lot of people don't figure out they because I was one of them. I just thought I was there's something wrong with me. I was married. And I'm like, am I crazy? You know? And the man was a liar. He just was a liar. And but it came out later once I got the divorce. You know what I'm saying? Some people have lost their minds
Yes.
because people unfortunately are, like she says, they're either narcissistic, they're manipulators. You know what I'm saying? If they can't have you, nobody else can have you, or they'll try to drag you in your feelings through the mud until
mhm.
you can't even recognize your own self. Am
Selfish.
I am I in my feelings? I feel my feelings right now because
Selfish.
there there are a lot of
Right.
people in relationships instead of them just leaving, walk away. You're not stuck. Nobody's stuck in nothing. I'm just saying. You're not
That's
stuck
true.
in anything. If
Not a
it's not
thing.
working, if it's not
Walk
working,
away.
It is okay to walk away and say,
That's
I'll
right.
try again, than to stay in something and break that man's spirits and break that woman's spirits and Lord knows the children.
That's
You know
true.
what
Well,
I'm
that's a
saying?
whole different conversation, though, right? That's so
But
It is.
I mean, but
multifaceted. Yeah,
that's all a part of
yeah.
when somebody calling you out about your feelings. They not just saying it once to a person. Somebody right now is going through that right now. They're watching. They're going through that. They are trying to communicate and make that marriage work. They are trying to make that
Mm-hmm.
relationship work. They are trying to build that relationship with children, with their child. They are at work trying to make relationships work. And they're struggling with that. So my suggestion to them is let it go. Just let it go. Because one thing you can't do is you can't change nobody but yourself.
That's true.
I'm
That's
only
true.
accountable for what Okimo say and what
Mm-hmm.
Okimo does. That would alleviate a lot of broken relationships. If
Yes,
people
it
just
would.
worry in that relationship, figure you out. It was times I had to go to marriage counseling by myself. You can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. Then that's where those feelings are now like this. Everybody bumping heads because of their what? Then allowed the situation to make them get into their feelings to cause a lot of hurt to another person. So, like Sister Mary said, if you don't agree with a person, and that's true, if you don't want to hear a person, you are going to express your feelings. And everybody express it differently. I mean, we
Well,
have children, right?
mm-hmm.
When children do not get along with their siblings and they feel like they're not being heard, they're going to hit them, right? They're going to hit them. They're going to hit them. They're going to express their feelings. Either I'm going to curse you out, or I'm going to beat you up, or I'm going to touch something, your car, your home, something, because I didn't got into my feelings because you didn't hear me. So it all goes back to hearing. And like we were saying earlier, making sure that we give ourselves time to debrief, and communicate, that part with the people in our either is at work, gym, restaurants. 'Cause, we can go from 0 to 100. Some folks real quick, and with our children, with our family. So, Hog, do you have anything too? Because I know you got some questions, so I'm gonna let you do you. I'm a
Yeah.
participant now, Hog. I'm a participant. Go
Okay.
ahead.
The other piece of that is when people, but especially when men say it to women, again, not bashing on the men, but when people say
Mhm.
it, it's because you want me to feel like I'm crazy or I'm in my feelings because I'm now addressing the issue that I have with you or the situation. So if
Mhm.
I say, well, you know what, and another thing I want to pick back up, Miss Mary has said, humans are creatures of habit.
Mhm. Good.
And we
Mm-hmm.
have intuition, right? For a reason. So if you go from calling me every day to now calling me like every other day, cool, life is happening. But then you go to calling me once a week, and once a
Ooh.
week turns into twice a week, and twice a week turns into once a month, right? So now your
Mhm.
pattern, your
Mm-hmm.
behavior has changed. So now I'm gonna ask you, hey, I haven't heard from you in like 4 or 5 days. What's going on? Everything good? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I just been busy.
And
Okay,
feelings.
but you're busy, but there's other behaviors that are occurring that lets me know that you're no longer interested in me and you're entertaining somebody else because I'm not crazy and I'm not in my feelings. I'm telling you, Playboy, that things not the same. You're not
Mhm.
checking in. You're not sending a text like, "Hey, how was work today?
Yeah.
Hope you had a good day." I know you had a long day. Just want to. Now your behavior has changed, and when I bring it to your attention, I'm in my feelings.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe in my feelings a little bit because now your behaviors change will cause me to have an illicit response in some type of way.
Mhm.
But because you got caught, I gotta be crazy. You and your
No,
feelings. You don't know what you're talking about, girl. Come on.
Hello.
We are not stupid
that's
as
true.
women. And one thing about me, you can tell me something, even if I know it. Depends on the day. I'm gonna let it ride because when I come with my receipts, you gonna hate that you don't have me no more.
Mm-hmm.
Hash, hashtag receipts. Come on now. Period, Queen.
But yeah, it's nothing
Period.
wrong with being
Come on, girl.
emotional. Nothing wrong with being emotional. We all are emotional. I just wish people would stop saying it with such a negative connotation. You're in your emotions, yes. What you consume or what you consider me being in my feelings or emotional is because I feel this. I have this issue or whatever it is, but let's be willing to talk about it and not say it like it's so negative. Like, sorry, are you in your feelings?
Mhm.
Right? Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm in my feelings, Okima, because you didn't just do the two finger
Yeah.
tap. You kind of
Mhm.
embarrassed me in front of everybody, right? So yeah, I'm gonna feel some type of way.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
Right.
I would say, as what you said, like a couple days you don't talk, and another couple days you don't talk, and it goes into a week or what have you. Because I know myself, and as Miss Marriott stated, sometimes you have to type it, delete it, and leave it alone. And it's
Mhm.
almost like you're trying to find your peace. So it's not that you're in your feelings, it's just that you're trying to find your peace. And if in that peace and in your feelings, I guess I can say, you know, that your day goes better. You don't
Mhm.
have those, I guess you can say, butterflies or anxiety in your stomach. You're just feeling out, okay, I really do need to go ahead and detach this person. And then if
Mhm.
you do find that time where they actually do make a phone call and you do actually answer, and they'll say, what's going on? That's a different way of saying, why are you in your feelings, is the way I took it. But you don't have
Mhm.
an nasty attitude to it. And I think sometimes that gives
Okay.
them time to think about what they've done wrong for you to
Mhm.
react in the way that you've reacted. And that gives you some time to be able to think about and break it down because you may be able to go from 0 to 100 real quick. So it's not always a bad thing if you have
Mhm.
that time where you don't speak to a person. Now, if you're going for a month or 2 months, and that's a whole nother situation. But a
Mhm.
couple days, I would even say a week or two. Because
Mhm.
sometimes people have to really break down what's going on with them. Because if you always have this noise. I'm a feng shui type person. Sometimes I feel if my house is not together, things are screaming at me. So I'm a sensory type person. I just need for things to
Okay.
be at peace. I don't need no noise in any capacity. And if I have to start cutting people off to be able to
Mhm.
think in a happy space, so we don't have that,
Mhm.
well, why are you in your feelings? Why are you acting this way? I'm not acting the way. I'm just trying to get back to my core, to my base, and get myself back in, in peace and in balance. So,
Mhm.
But then just communicate. See, because
but some
that's a little different, right? That's a little different if I life has just been busy and hectic and I didn't call you for 2 days or whatever. But when a person is interested in you, they're still gonna touch base. Hey, I've been busy. Just want you to know
That's
I'm
true.
thinking about you.
That's
Send
true.
a text. Bam.
But they
Or
may send a text and I'm not gonna respond because, and maybe it's just me, but if there's just things that's going on, whether it be between me and that person, me in a situation with that person, I'm cutting out everything. I just have to cut out everything. And I guess that's when you have to know what type of person that you're dealing with and how they
mhm.
communicate. It's almost like knowing a person in their love language. Everybody deals with certain conflicts differently. You have some people, they don't deal with conflict at all. And they just let people dump, 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 dump. And then they finally get to their place where they just explode. And people say, well, where did that come from? Well, you have to know that person. So I guess it just depends
Absolutely.
upon those two people
Yes.
that's in that situation.
Absolutely. That's why I said you got to know who you're dealing with, right?
Mhm.
You have to know the type of person they are. Like, I hear women say, oh, my husband or
That's
my
right.
boyfriend is my best friend. My best friend, my best friend. And you want to tell them everything. Well, guess what, ladies? They don't want to know everything.
Thank
And
you.
everything don't need to be told. So
Exactly.
you have to know who you're dealing with.
Amen.
If you have a person
That's
that
true.
know that they can't
That's right.
handle,
That's right.
if I tell my mate something about a friend of mine, and I know that they're not going to be able to handle it, and now they're going to look at her differently, then I
You
know
don't
not
have
to
to.
share that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially if they hold that person in
Mhm,
high regards,
mhm.
then I know not to share that. But people have to really, I don't care if it's your mama, your siblings, your kids, your mate, whoever, you have to know the individual that you're dealing with and vice versa.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's why you have pockets of people that you share certain things with. I have things, that I would share with some of my, my high school friends, that some of my college friends, you're not gonna really, identify, because one, whatever the situation is, and then the capacity of how you met me, know me, and deal with me, you may not be able to deal with that. So people say, "Well, I didn't know that about you." Well, it really never presented itself for you to know that. Now you're
Mhm,
not able to
mhm, mhm.
process it, and you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Whereas these
Mhm.
individuals over here, they can understand where I'm coming from, and we can, we're kind of there with each other. So,
Yes,
One
yes, yes.
one of one of our viewers says some people are toxic. Find your people. Um, I
yes.
am not for everybody.
Absolutely.
And the choir tastes like wine. It's not for
Listen,
everybody.
there's something to
Yes,
say for the
yes,
original. That's why they try to have
yes,
knockoffs.
yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously
Like
though,
that.
right?
Rhonda, Rhonda look like she wants to say something. Go ahead, Rhonda, girl.
No, I was just thinking when she said that, when the person said that, my feelings aren't for everybody either. Now, I
Amen.
might be feeling them, but I don't have to share them with you.
Hmm.
I'm
Mhm.
good. It's okay
Yes,
because
yes.
part of it is me releasing part of me, and I don't want to share that with just anybody. If you've already ticked me off to the point where I know I'm blocking you out, there's no need for us
Mhm.
to even have a discussion about it. It's just
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be all
it is
right,
what it is.
and I'm
Yeah.
not sharing with you yet. That's right.
Yes,
It is what it
Mhm.
is.
that's right. That's right. That's
But
it.
You
you
I,
know
I
know,
what? Just know I don't get offended when people say you're in your feelings, especially if it's somebody I don't really care about and you don't matter at the end of the day.
Hmm.
That's what it
And you
is.
don't
well,
give
you,
everyone
I,
access to you at all levels. I mean, there's, like, I'd say, firewalls and passwords. You don't know that
Yeah.
password to be able to get to me. So there's the
yeah.
firewall put up for starters. Not
but you
everyone
know
gets the
what?
same
But
access to me.
oh, so where I hear you. I hear you, but a lot of people don't get there until something happens.
True.
True.
Everybody don't have those experiences,
Hmm.
yeah.
you
That's
know.
true.
So
Right.
It
we
comes
have
with
to. I
age.
want our audience to understand that everybody may not understand why you move the way you move,
Hmm.
and you
And you
ain't
know
gotta
what?
tell
That's
them.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they
Yes.
don't. I have learned to just
Yeah.
be okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I had to be okay because
Mhm.
I'm just happy and I just feel the way I feel, and I had to learn to be okay.
Yeah.
I want to bring everybody
Yes.
with me, but
Yes.
Yeah.
everybody can't come.
Everybody can
Everybody
go.
can't come. I'm
Yes.
just
Yes.
saying.
What? Uh,
Everybody can go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at
Mm-hmm.
the point in my life where I'm okay with being Nicole. That it's not my responsibility what you have to say or think about Nicole. That is too much responsibility for me to carry on my shoulder. Good, bad, or indifferent. You like me? Yeah, that's cool. You don't like me? That's cool too.
Mhm.
Because that's not my responsibility. If you don't like me because I said something or did something to you, then have a conversation with me. But if you just
And
say,
can
I
probably
don't like
testify
her,
to.
I don't like her, just because I've had people tell to me in the past that, oh, I ain't like you at first, but once I got to know you, you're cool. Why? How could you not like me when you never even had a conversation with me?
true.
So that's a you problem and not a me problem.
Yeah.
Those are feelings that to me don't make sense when a person tells you that because they don't know you. I experienced that when I worked at Henry Ford Hospital. It was just a person there that for me, it was something that just made me stay my distance. I was in my feelings. If she came around me, I was like, oh, I wish she'd just go over to her desk or whatever. But I had to realize that those feelings, to me, I call them false feelings. Okay. You just have closed yourself down and you don't feel like you want to get to know this person. Had no reason, but as I decided for myself, I had to let go of those feelings. I'm gonna come out of my feelings and open myself just enough to get to know her. And it worked for me because as I got to know this young lady, I realized that whatever that feeling was, it wasn't a positive feeling because she was a good person.
Mhm.
So I think that's how it works also in relationships when you're meeting somebody. You
Mhm.
know, there's a little bitty thing that is say, no, but you have to be open with your feelings.
Mhm.
And that's why my word was authentic.
Mhm.
Just be
Mhm.
authentically you.
Them on the
Just be
phone,
authentic.
and then you let them go, and down the road you cross. You might know the person, and they get married, and you find out this person was a good guy, but because of how I thought I felt in my feelings, I missed it. Maybe you might have felt like, okay, it wasn't for you, but then it could have been because you was in your feelings.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it's feelings have a great
It can
part
make
of
you or
how we
break you.
perceive life, period. And so when the guy tells us, or your kids say,
Mhm.
so we just have to learn to get better
Mhm.
at communicating
And being
our feelings, you know?
and being for those that go their go-to is prayer. When you're unsure about a thing, what is your go-to? You know, you
Yes,
might get
yes.
this feeling, and you sometimes you might say, Lord, this is how I'm feeling. You know, I would say, Lord,
Teach
this
me,
is how I'm
Jesus.
feeling, and
Yes.
I need you to show me. So one of the things I do, and this is for me, I don't care who comes into my life, I'm praying about you. Because I'm
Amen.
like, Lord, I need you to reveal these people to me. And it happened because I'm so easily to
Yeah.
connect with people. And sometimes you become hurt. I
Yeah.
remember the Lord would tell me it's too much for you with that person. Like, don't give too much. He helps me to pull back. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I'm asking him to lead and guide me
Yes.
in all my relationships. Because sometimes as humans, we can
Yes.
connect and get so connected
Yes.
that it can mess you up in the long run. Or they'll turn around, hurt you, and you like
It's
that
true.
person hurt. I've been there. Lord, they hurt me. Why would they
Hmm.
do that? I trusted them. Why would she
Yes.
say that? Why would he do that? That's because we're humans. We are. And we
Yes.
for people, we get attached to them, we get close to them, and then we become vulnerable. But I mean, it's just something like I said, until you run into that situation, then you learn how to navigate it. Once you
Mm-hmm.
get burnt once, you ain't gonna get burnt again. You know what I'm saying? So then when the next you try not to let the other person pay for what somebody else did to you. However, you just look for wisdom. That's all. Just look for wisdom. And I like when Sora Latanya was talking about, you know what? She has her, I heard like a little bubble, and she in it, and it's gonna take a rocket scientist to get through to that. Get through to her, period. She is. That's just how she rolled, and we had to, accept that. That's the type of person she is. So I really think, when people learn how to respect people's time, their space, their talents and gifts, and who they are, it's okay to just say, okay, it ain't nothing. Don't even get in your head. It's nothing more to it. Cause that's where the feelings come in. I just said that right now. Don't take it to heart.
Well,
Mhm.
that's because they don't know how to
She
do it
don't
for
want to be
themselves.
bothered. She don't want to be bothered with me. For today, I want people to know it's not personal. It's not
Mhm.
Not
personal.
always.
It's not
Mm-mm.
personal. And I want this communication part. If you got a problem with me, please call me. Do not call a third, second person because you piss me off.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't brought up a whole nother topic. I'm about to get. I'm all I'm saying
Yes.
is
The
if
still
you
feelings.
if you have a problem, if I did it, come to me. Don't bring a because see, you bring a second and third
Yes.
person in it, this is gonna happen. They trying to keep your name out of it because you told them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they trying to fix something without having the person there. You can't unless you going to counseling. They're like, well, it's supposed to be couples counseling, but since y'all can't come together, let's just work on you. And see, that's a difference. That's one of the difference between coaches and therapy. We all work on, we want to see you. I cannot talk to you about him or her without them in the room.
Absolutely.
And I want everybody to practice this. Even me starting today, I didn't left a lot of people alone. I'm just cordial with folks, with some folks because you can be trusting them with stuff and then they'll go tell stuff and now you it's just messy. Like she said, my viewers say just toxic. So going forward, I operate a lot different. And like I said, that all it all stems from an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
here's
I'm
a
not,
good
I don't,
tip.
I don't hate anybody. I'm just cordial. And I'm prayerful. Lord, I need this
Amen.
to be the right person. Lord, I want the right person.
I think
Go ahead.
I think experiences make us live in our feelings um, quite a bit. You know, it makes us cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
Well,
if you
here's a tip for
experience,
everybody.
yeah, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
think
Mary, you went in and out, and I thought you were finished. I'm sorry. Here's a
that's
tip
right.
for everybody with every relationship that you have to deal with. Like I said, intimate partners, co-workers, friends, family, whatever. Is ask yourself, what can you do to make the relationship better?
Mm-hmm.
I can't focus on what you're gonna do and the next person, but I can only focus on what I can do to
Mm-hmm.
make it better from my end. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do the work on your end.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's what
Right.
my next event is on how to make yourself better. So at the end of the day, we're gonna what? Respect one another's time,
Make yourself
space,
feel
in
better.
their feelings, and ask the
Boundaries.
questions in their boundaries. Ask the questions. Be
Feelings.
honest with yourself. Be truthful with thy own self.
Right.
Be what?
Right.
True.
If
True.
I can't be honest with myself, then I'm definitely gonna have a
Amen.
problem being honest with anybody else.
Yes.
Okay. So
So
we're gonna
Sora, real
before we
quick,
Yes.
begin.
real
That's why I'm
quick, let me
single.
say this. I tell people all the time, I say it in sessions, and I'll say this. You can tell me everything underneath the sun. You can lie to me, your mama, everybody, right? But the one person you can't lie to is yourself.
That's
Mm-hmm,
You
true.
can't run
That's
from
true.
yourself.
mm-hmm,
You can't
That's
run from
true.
yourself.
That's
mm-hmm,
true.
mm-hmm.
That's so
And
true.
And so
sometimes people don't like to sit up, they don't like to look at themselves. And I tell people
Amen.
sometimes if you have all these relationships and people are all treating you the same way and none of these people know each other, you're the common denominator. So that makes you have to stop and look at yourself. And you may not like what you see. And you
mm-hmm,
can't reflect those
Yes.
bad feelings
Yes.
onto other
Yes.
people because you're saying, well, that's just their problem. No, really,
That's
it's
right.
not their problem, it's your problem.
Mm.
mm-hmm,
Do the work.
mm-hmm. That's where conflict comes in.
Yeah.
That's the start of all conflict. Before we end, panelist tips. Who said balance?
I said balance. And for me, it connects to this emotions. For me, I have to be reflective all day long and just be in tune to what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, and let that guide me to do the next action. And even when people tell me that I'm in my feelings, especially when we're in conflict, my feelings is not the problem because I'm in tune with mine. You might want to get into yours so that we can, navigate through the conflict. But for me, balance is just making sure that I'm able to adjust to make sure I'm on even keel and I stay centered.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Intentional. Who said it?
That was me, Soror.
Go ahead.
Just be intentional with everything that you do. Don't have any type of, I say, hidden agenda to it. Just know that this is what you want to do and stick to it. And make sure that everybody is on board with it and understand. So, therefore, there's no problems or issues. So, just be intentional with everything that you're trying to do.
Lovely.
Mhm.
Authentic.
Authentic. So I said authentic because you need to be authentically you. You can't be anybody else. Everyone else is taken. And so if I meet you where you are, I'm expecting to meet the authentic sense of you and not your representation, right? And so I could only be myself. And if everybody would just be themselves, we can be authentic, and then we can have a common bond of building a healthy relationship and not always be in our feelings.
Mhm.
Amen.
That's what's up. Better. My sister Meriden. Can you hear us?
Yes. She's
Better. She's better.
Better self examination. For myself, I've learned that self examination helps me to better myself and to better others.
Got the kissy lips. One person, Nick said, you need not like me, but you will respect
respect
me.
me.
Amen, Nick.
That
Yeah.
is
Yes.
important. At the
And
end
I
of the
am the
day,
problem, and I am.
all respect each other.
Yes.
So I want to thank each and every panelist, are my guests. You are amazing.
I enjoyed you,
And
ladies.
man, you all are thebomb.com. And for those that have been viewing us and listening, and you may want to reach out, they said feel free. Reach out to them if you have any questions or concerns. They'll help walk you through. And again, I say thank you for tuning in and listening. And if you would like to be a guest, just hit me up. Everybody have a great day.
Take
Peace.
care. Good night.
Bye.